This is possibly one of the most important videos I've made on RC-TNT so far. And at the end of this video, I think you'll understand why. I have quite a few radios, and some of them are actually quite clever computer-controlled things that have memories for 10, 20 or more models. But there's a good reason why I only have a few models that I use the same radio on. And I'd like to tell you why that is. There's something special about RC crawling. Special even separate from other radio control niches, this hobby. You might have heard it said that sometimes to think best, take a walk. Well, with rock crawlers, that's absolutely what you need to do to enjoy the hobby. You take this thing for a walk. Now you might notice that every one of the models I'm showing you here has a separate controller. And while I have some pretty nifty controllers here that let you share models using preset memories, I actually avoid using that much of the time. And you'd think, doing a channel like RC-TNT, it might make more sense to actually have as few radios as possible. I have a very practical reason. It's one that's actually related to health, mental health, and possibly the deepest, most valuable and enjoyable part of the hobby, and that is the ability to share. Every separate radio here next to every truck is potential. It's potential for sharing this hobby with somebody else. For going for a drive with them and saying, hey, here's a little toy truck, here's a controller, here's how you drive it, let's go for a walk. And quite honestly, some of my very best memories with friends and even people that I'm still getting to know, it's in this shared experience of going crawling together. In fact, I would go as far as saying that being able to take these things for a drive with somebody else, particularly as blokes, but I'm talking to everybody, but particularly for guys, when we walk and when we're working through something, we're talking. And that is actually a little snapshot of the divine. It's part of where I find peace, and it's actually a mechanism through which relationships are deepened. And isn't that great to be able to say? And of course I love sharing my testing with you too. There's something pure about the enjoyment of taking these things outside. And I'm very grateful to live in a place that at night time it's nearly completely black. There's a road off in the distance and there are some cars and some houses around the place. But honestly, I don't see many lights at night. I've got full view of the stars at night. We have a beautiful big sky here. So, although there is a consumerist element to this stuff, I treat a lot of these as a business investment, but also as a mental health investment. Why are they interested in the Trailfinder 3? They're not all around the other trucks, that's funny. Look at those little flies. And so, although I do have some snazzy radios, particularly something like the DX5 Rugged and the GT5, which are favourites of mine, I will continue to keep separate radios. And by having separate radios, I've got this open potential where I can share this hobby with people, but more than that, I can share quality time. And I said this in my last video, is rock crawling fun? You might remember that one. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. We're actually not here for a terribly long time. I'm totally blessed to be able to play with all these toys, but it's really not about the toys. If I only owned one, I've said it before, the best rock crawler is the one you have today, because it represents potential. It represents being able to get outside and to really touch on what is possibly a little slice of heaven on earth. Spending time with a mate or two or 10 and just being able to talk. And so if I've really had anything sink into my head over the last few years, it has really been the value of connection, the value of people, and the value of sharing. And that's a funny paradox about sharing, because the more you give, particularly the more you give to not get, the more it pays you back. I'm sure it can be said more eloquently than that. But if you're inside, I know for my friends in the Northern Hemisphere that the warmer months are coming. I look forward for you that you're going to be able to get outside soon, or already if you are. And so wherever you are on this journey in life, I hope you find a way to multiply the good and share that which makes you happy, that which brings you joy. Throw me a comment below if you have any more to add to that. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time on RC-TNT.